Hey, everybody. Welcome to this month's Women CEOs Rocks Evening Encounter. Listen, we are super happy to have you here. On behalf of me and Tara, we just want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen, I'm super excited. Y'all, I have one of the most knowledgeable men in the game of being minority certified. He is a coach that has worked with me personally at my I Must Become Enterprises Academy. He is affectionately known by me as the middle level of business coach. So I want you guys to get your pen and your paper and be ready to soak it all in, because as you know, I have been talking about recession proofing your business. So this is something that me and Tara felt like was important for you guys to recession proof your business and start to use your business resources smarter and put you ahead of the game. So come on in, queens. Come on in, get your drink, get your pad, get your pen, get comfortable so that you can soak in this information. I'm super excited to have Jelani Johnson with us tonight, and he is going to drop some gems and some nuggets for you guys, so you do not want to miss anything. As he's going through his presentation, be writing down your questions, because you definitely want to make sure you get all your questions in so that you guys can be set up and be ready to run. As you guys know, September is the month that really starts the Hebrew New Year. You guys know that I'm big on planning out your next year. So that technically really starts the new year. So if you know, you know, but that will get you guys aligned to be ready to start for the next year, to be empowered to jumpstart your year. So that's what we're all about, women's empowerment. So we want you guys to be empowered tonight. Definitely go get those pens and paper, because guys, he's getting ready to drop some gems, some mind-blowing information that you guys do not want to miss. Welcome to our Omato show.
Hey, Alonda, how you doing?
I am fantastic. I'm super excited.
Hey, everyone. Good evening. Make sure in the chat. Let me welcome you to this AirMe platform. If you've never been on AirMe, make sure let's do some housekeeping rules or housekeeping tips. I should say, not rules, but tips. Over on the right hand side is a chat area. You can type in your questions, or and you can put your information. So right now, everyone, put where you are tuning in from and your business information. Hello. Okay, there we go. There we go. They found it. Hello, everyone. And so we have, okay, so we got welcome, queens. So right there, that is the chat area. And hey, everybody. Hey, and then down below, if you want to give some reactions, you'll see a smiling face. You can, put thumbs up. If you hear our speaker say something that you like, you can clap. You can use that in there, and all kinds of reactions. So let me see everyone give me some reactions. Give me some thumbs up. Give me some love. Give me some hearts. Okay, I see. Okay, people know where it is. Okay, all right. I guess I should put where I'm from. Okay, all right. The speaker said, "What's up? What's up?" Bowie, Maryland. From in Bowie, Maryland. Oh, we got Chicago. Okay, awesome. I'm super excited about this evening. I'm glad that we're able to do that, and I'm glad that you guys were able to join us. If you wish, later on when we have questions and answer sessions, time for questions. If you would like to come on stage, if you hover over your name, it will it will say request on stage. And you can come on, or if you want to put in the chat and you want to come on stage, you can come on stage and ask a question after the presentation. Feel free to use the chat, to chime in, but we will hear questions afterwards. So we may not see your question if you put in the chat. So make sure you stay to the end so you can ask questions and you can get the answer to your questions. Melanda, you have anything else you want to add?
Nope. Be on the lookout. We got a new anthology project coming. here next month, we're going to be launching. So if you are ready to tell your story about entrepreneurial journey, or you know someone who is, definitely refer them. If you have not gone to womenceosrock.com to join our sisterhood, you definitely want to make sure that you go join, stay abreast. We are here every fourth Tuesday of the month. We have some exciting things that we've already been planning for next year that we are getting ready to kick off with a bang, guys. So we're super excited. There's you'll be like, dang, y'all have to hit us with all of that because we coming back to back to back to back to back. We're gonna be dropping so many different things. So you guys want to make sure you stay locked in. If you know somebody that needs to be locked in, definitely refer. Definitely stay tuned to our Women CEOs Rock page on Facebook. We have our own community group as well on Facebook. We have our own offline chic shade lounge that we are getting ready to roll out. So you definitely don't want to miss that and be an inaugural member to our new platform. We already have a lot of women that rock with us already, but we are getting ready to roll out an opportunity for you guys to be some inaugural members to our own She Lounge. So you guys don't want to miss that. So definitely stay locked in. September is the month that we are getting ready to start rolling things out with Women CEOs Rock. So 2 things: go to womenceosrock.com and sign up to be a part of our sisterhood and join our directory, or to browse our directory if you want to link with another one of our sisters that are in our network, or go to our online community, Women CEOs Rock, on Facebook to stay abreast for when we roll out our online but offline She Lounge. So guys, stay tuned. We got another anthology project coming out. We got Diamonds and Pearls, Affirmation of a Womanpreneur Who Rocks, which is the volume 2 of our Diamonds and Pearls series. So you guys do not want to miss that. If you missed the first one, it went 4 times international bestseller. We did a double feature, a book and a journal. So you can still go to womenceosrock.com and purchase that. It's getting rave reviews all around the world. It's changing lives. We had 13 dynamic industry experts join us, one of which is my personal mentor that is killing the game in the private and public sector. She's one of the youngest female retirees in the game from the government of 30 plus years. So she dropped some gems in that book, and we left it all on the floor, but we got some more for volume 2.
No, we didn't drop the mic just yet. We didn't drop the mic just yet.
Right. Yeah. Because if you don't know, me and Tar are 2/3 of the Business Avengers. So we do a lot of different things with our family companies that we house. So you guys, if you need anything, we do it all from A to Z. So we are getting ready to offer that to our exclusive women's community, which we're already offering it, but just in a real big way. We're ready to do some major things in a real big way. We have access to so many things. So some of the ladies that wrote with us on our last project got to experience that. So we are going to do it for 13 more amazing women on our next volume. So stay locked in. You do not want to miss it. If you know somebody that's wanting to write, but they're like, I don't know if I have a whole book in me, but they want to get their toe wet in the water, this anthology project is the best way to start that, and also to bring awareness to your brand. So that's just some of the amazing opportunities to writing an anthology as a sisterhood as opposed to being a solo author. So
and writing and like writing with us, because we were featured on NBC, ABC, and Fox. We were featured on a couple of shows live where all the authors got a chance to introduce themselves, introduce their business. It was just awesome. So you don't want to miss the next release for this anthology project. And like Alana said, we have a lot of things that are in store. So make sure you tune in. Make sure
y'all do not want to miss it. You do not want to miss it. Like, Tara's the quiet one of us, but I'm the little sister, so I'm a little more rambunctious. But y'all know we not come to play. When we bring it. We go all the way, all the way, all the way. So if you missed it, you missed our billboard. We did so many different things. Like, guys, like, people was like that have done anthology projects. Like, we have never seen an anthology project like you guys have done it before. And we're climbing. We got way more to come. This next one, we taking all the breaks off and all the filters off. So we just had to ease y'all into the kiddie pool at first. But now it's time to jump into the deep end. So listen, if you are ready to tell your story, you're ready to be a part of a sisterhood, Women CEOs Rocks is the place for you. Jump on Diamonds and Pearls, the second edition of a womanpreneur who rocks. You do not want to miss it. The project was so well executed and just eloquently done. Listen, and my mentor said it, so she does everything in excellence. So to get that compliment for her, I know I did an amazing job. So shout out to her. Listen, if you know somebody, if you're that somebody, if you don't know, definitely show up for the interest meeting next month, just to kind of see what all we're talking about, and stay locked in. As you guys see, we only bring you the best. We only bring you the top of their industry. And so without further ado, I want to bring my man to the stage. He was once my work husband, but we've been friends for many, many years. He's an amazing guy. If you know, that's our inside joke. But anyway, so he is super qualified. He's a dope individual. Like, he's worked in the hospitality industry. He's like a plethora of he's a jack of all trades, as far as skill and knowledge. And so I definitely want to bring him to the game. Listen, y'all, he about to take over the coaching stage. Like, listen, it definitely stay connected with him. It's an opportunity for you to go network with him after his presentation. If you think you want to go coach with him, because he is really bringing the middle level of business where everybody is missing this mark, because they think it's just a matter of getting your LLC or just getting your business bank account. But what he's about to bring to this stage is a game changer, y'all. Mark my words, this is a game changer. And if you don't jump on this journey right now, you are going to want to kick yourself, because we are in a recession, and this is the fastest way to recession proof your business. It's getting ready to open you up to a whole nother wealth of resources that you had no idea even existed out there, especially for us, because we don't know about these resources. So it was important for us to bring this to you. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Mr. Johnson to the stage, aka the middle level of business coach. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Oh man, thank you, Alonda, for that tremendous introduction. So I do want to say real quickly though, I heard you say I used to be your work husband, but I never got those papers. So as far as I'm concerned, I still am. Thank you, Tora. Thank you, Women CEOs Rock, for just allowing me to come and just present. My name is Jelani Johnson, as stated. I am a manager of MBE Services for the Ohio Minority Supplier Development Council. I cover the state of Ohio, primarily in central Ohio, so Columbus area for those familiar with Ohio, and down to Cincinnati. So everywhere from Columbus down to the river is my territory. Couple things I do. Initially, we start with certifications. We'll get into all of that. Primarily, what the role is involved into now, helping people build capability statements, helping people with strategic planning, helping people with their OGSM objectives, goals, strategies, and the measures for those things. So that is primarily what I do, as well as Londa said. I do coach because there's a lot of things that we don't know as it comes to business. A lot of people too think that, and we'll go through this, but just want to give a quick disclaimer. A lot of people think, as Alonda said, it's about getting your LLC, or in this case with the council, it's a lot about getting. Everybody thinks it's about getting certified. Once I get certified, then I can jump into these things. But there's different levels that you have to achieve as your business grows. So we want to make sure we cover a lot of that today. I'll answer any questions that we have at the end, or if it's important enough, or you feel it's important enough, you can always interrupt me. I don't mind. Either way, I just want to be obedient to how we typically do it. So I don't want to move off the norm. So you can put the questions in the chat as I heard as well. So it's completely up to you guys. I'm here for you. Answer any questions that you have. Tara, if you will, we can jump right into it. So what I'll have is a slideshow. I'll just give you the overview of certification. We'll talk about benefits of certification, the whole nine. So this is what I present. So for those who are unaware, OMSDC, the Ohio Minority Supplier Development Council, we are part of an umbrella for the National Minority Supplier Development Council. As you can see, we are celebrating our 50th year this year. So it's been a lot going on throughout every state as well. I am at your pace, so we can go. I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. So what I'm gonna talk about, or what I primarily do again, is certification. We do outreach. We assist with OMSDC events, special projects, processing, recruiting, and retention, and also relationship building. I want to make sure I want to put this in there. When we talk about relationship building, I don't only mean relationship building, with you as the CEOs and your business with our corporate or our government or our higher institution um, partners, but I'm talking about also, and it's very dear to me, so you'll hear me get on my horse. I'm gonna try to contain myself a little bit today, but I also want to help build relationships with you and your fellow women CEOs at Rock as well, because we need to know what each other does in order for us to, at times, if necessary, collaborate in order to get business. So, or just do business with one another. So I'm really big on minority business owners knowing other minority business owners in order to do work with or in collaboration with as well. So thank you, Tar. We can keep it moving. I'm just like really excited. So we are a nationwide organization, as I stated. We are privately funded through corporate membership dues, certification fees, corporate and MBE sponsorships, and events. That's primarily how we're a nonprofit organization, so that's primarily how we work. Again, we are affiliate of the National Minority Supplier Development Council. I use a lot of acronyms, so I'll try to explain them before I use. So NMSDC, there are 23 affiliates. Again, we were established in 72. What's crazy about Ohio is Ohio was initially two councils. So you had the South Central Council, which covered Columbus, Cincinnati area, Dayton, and then you had the Northern Council, which was primarily Cleveland, Toledo, Akron, Canton. So 9 years ago, we merged to become the One Ohio MSDC. So One Ohio Minority Supplier Development Council. We cover the entire state now. There are more than 100 local, and when I say local, you'll hear me go back and forth saying local and regional. Same thing, just within the state of Ohio. I do see we have Chicago on here. I'm Tars in Maryland. So again, what I'm saying here is an overview of everything that NMSDC covers. So even though I work and live in Ohio, this covers all 50 states. One thing interesting about Chicago by itself is its own council. So it is the only city that has its own council. So they were the biggest and the first. So Chicago, be proud of that. So there are 100 local or regional members. What we do, so we certify, we develop, we connect, we advocate, and again, we assist in our relationship building. You'll see our 4 pillars: certify, develop, connect, and advocate. The first step is a certification. Then again, develop. When we're talking about developing, we're talking about developing a financial plan. We're talking about developing your capability statement, a marketing plan, things of those nature that will get you in front of our corporate, our government, and our higher institution partners in our network. And then connect. We connect you with those. So once we get that stuff together, we connect you with those partners. And then we advocate. My job also consists of going to bat for you. So if I get I use some Ohio companies, for example. If I get a call from P&G and I know what you do, I will advocate. I will go to bat for you in order to get you at the table with P&G. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. Tara, you can go ahead. What we don't do, we don't provide loans and contracts. So when it comes to the loans and contracts, we have partners within our organization that does the funding or the capital. we ourselves don't do capital at the council. We don't guarantee contract opportunities. What do you mean? So I will get you, just taking that P&G example. I will advocate for you and get you at the table with P&G. I just can't walk in that room with you or sit at that table with you. I can get you there, but it's up to you to go ahead and close it. And as women CEOs that do rock, I'm sure no one in this room has a problem with that. So let's talk about the qualifications to apply for certification. You have to be a for-profit enterprise. So it can't be, unfortunately, a nonprofit as of yet. You have to be a legally formed entity, a sole prop, LLC, S or C Corp, or a partnership. You cannot be a holding company. We certify subsidiaries of a holding company, but not the holding company itself. Since we do have a nationwide coverage, you have to be physically located in the U.S. or your business has to be physically located in the U.S. or Puerto Rico. Your company has to be at least 51% ethnic minority owned. The minority owner must hold the highest executive title position. You must be a U.S. citizen. As you can see here, you have to be active in the management and day-to-day operations. So as your business grows, we know that you won't be necessarily in the day-to-day operations. But as of right now, you get certified, you must be in the day-to-day operation. And as your business grows, we just ask, or part of the certification being a minority certification, is that you have minorities in those spots that handles your day-to-day. Um, ownership and control is real. I have a funny story about that. I don't want to take up too much time, but so as I'm sure you know, with the murder of George Floyd, a lot of companies decided that they wanted to help minority owned businesses, specifically black owned businesses, and kind of create some kind of equity. With that being said, there was a lot of money earmarked for black businesses. So with that, a lot of companies posed as black businesses in order to get some of that earmarked money. So this is where we mean when we say the minority ownership must be real and continuing. And then one thing we do is we allow startups. I know there are other certifying entities. You have to be in business for a minimum of 2 to 3 years, but we will accept startups. And that's when you start up, then we look at that development piece again. Tar. So who are the eligible ethnic groups? Asian Americans, Asian Indian Americans, Black Americans, Hispanics, and natives. Ineligible groups are those from the Asia Minor region. I won't bore you with those. The European descent, Iberian Peninsula, Northern Africa. There are some talks about changing the last two, Northern Africa and the Persian Gulf. Reason being, when this was established in 72, those areas that you see at the last two bullets weren't considered distressed areas. Well, as you know, a lot has changed in 50 years, especially over the last 20 years. So there are talks to include those from those descent into the eligible ethnic groups for certification. So the question, why certify? What's the point? So again, we got earmark money. It does provide the validation of an MBE minority business enterprise status. It is a national certification. So that's one thing that separates, and all of them are good. Please don't misunderstand me. One thing that kind of stands out for NMSDC is we're national certification. Again, we cover all 50 states as well as Puerto Rico. We do have partners in the UK. We have partners in Canada. We have partners in South Africa and China, believe it or not. Certification will also allow you access to key corporate decision makers. Again, we get you in the room, we advocate, and we get you in the room. You get to network with other certified MBEs via advocacy groups. So again, this is heavy on my heart because I really think that we can do a much better job in regards to knowing each other, knowing each other's business, and knowing how we can benefit one another. You are included in a national database searched by more than 1,400. Actually, that number right now is 1,500. Forgive me, 1,500 corporations. You have access to executive education programs. Invitations to corporate events are 50th anniversary NMSDC conference will be taking place in New Orleans at the end of October. So things like that. You're going to have decision makers from all over the country in one area, one city, one hotel trying to, or one convention center making this thing happen. You have access to local and national business opportunity fairs. Ours, we have one for those in the Cincinnati or Ohio area. We have those who we have a SDX, what we call Supplier Diversity Exchange. And for those familiar with the matchmaker, it's kind of a reverse matchmaker. So instead of MBEs pitching the corporates are actually pitching the MBEs, telling them why they should do business with that particular corporation. The Business Opportunity Expo, we had that in Columbus this year. And then the National Minority Supplier Development Conference, or the national conference, which I was speaking of, will be taking place in New Orleans at the end of October. So a lot of good things. It helps build the network, as stated. I see somebody put that in there. It's all about networking. You have to know people. And one thing I want to say too, even if a corporation doesn't have a need for exactly what you do now, that does not mean that need won't come around where you will be utilized. But you want to know these people, you want to build those relationships, you want to network with them. That way, when that time comes, you'll be able to go ahead and make that happen. So, what is the process for certification? Attend the pre-cert meeting. So we can call this a pre-cert meeting right now, pre-certification meeting. Complete the online application, and I'll give you the website for that. And then all supporting documentation. Now, again, remember, we do take startups. So for those who may have just started your business, when we look at the documentation, you may not have all of that, but we'll talk about that. Submit the application processing fee. We'll talk about that. Desk audit. So I'll get the application. I'll go over the application, make sure all the documentation is proper, and then we go from there and set up a site visit. A site visit we can do via Zoom. That's just me getting to know more about you, you getting to know more about us, me knowing more about your business, answering any questions. From there, I'll give your application, or I'll forward your application over to the certification committee. They meet once a month. They'll say yay or nay. We're going to go with yay. They'll give your application to our board. Our board makes a final decision, and then you will be notified that you'll get a congratulatory email or a phone call from me saying, congratulations, you are now certified with NMSDC as a minority business enterprise. I'm hoping this is where we can move on. So the certification fees, this is what we're looking at. We have it broken down into 4 classes, 1 through 4. Class 1, again, is a startup to less than $1 million. Class 2 is $1 million to $9.9 million, and this is an annual revenue. Class 3 is $10 million to $49.9 million, and then Class 4 is everything over $50 million. The fees are as follows: $300, $550, $850, and $950, depending on what class you fall in. You do need to recertify every year, so your certification is valid for 1 full calendar year. So, for example, if you were to be on the August docket, your certification will get approved. You will be due up for recertification by August 31st of next year, 2023. We can move on. There are those who would like to, if those would like to do an expedited process. Expedited, I've only seen this a couple of times, but it is an option. So how I've seen it is if people have had pending contracts and the corporation says, well, you know what, I need you to get certified as an MBE in order to get this contract. So people will have contracts being held up and they'll go to certify. So the certification process, the typical certification process takes around 45 days, just depending on how quickly documentation is in. The X, and that's 45 for a month and a half. If you do a expedited process, we usually get that done in 3 weeks. Again, hoping that all documentation is in. Now, there's an additional cost of certification to the expedited certification process of $600 on top of whatever else, whatever class you fall under. So, for example, if you were a class 1 and that start up to $900,000, then you're looking at $900 to certify. Again, I don't see that used very much, but if people have pending contracts, and there have been, they'll do the expedited process. You have to be 100% minority owned, though, so it can't be like a 51-49 split, 75-25, whatever the case may be. It has to be 100% minority owned. There could be multiple owners, but they all have to be minorities. And again, as you see there, all required documentation must be submitted and all other criteria applies. So Tara, we can move on. I'm about to get into the meat of it. Before we do, I want to remind everybody, or introduce, I should say, that we do have NMSDC has launched a reimbursement program, and this is for your certification. So there are 5 different organizations who are actually paying for certifications right now. Those 5 are JP Morgan Chase, Lowe's, Mass Mutual, Nielsen, and Omnicon Contact. Now, what's crazy, or not crazy, but what's awesome about the Omnicon contract, that is new. And it actually is reimbursing. All of them have different qualifications. Yes, Lowe's. Make sure I put this email in the chat for those who don't have it. But what's interesting about the Omnicon is that they're now paying for fees, or reimbursing, for fees. You can be a social media influencer, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whomever. You actually are getting your fees reimbursed. Lowe's is giving reimbursement fees as well. The requirements are pretty open. They're open. They're in the hopes that people are going to use their services or use their stores. So a lot of contractors, a lot of construction agents, they'll file for the Lowe's reimbursement. Again, Nielsen, JP Morgan Chase is pretty open. Nielsen, they're looking for people who are primarily in like the media ownership, media companies. So each one, and on this website, the reimbursement.nmsdc.org, you'll have everybody's different qualifications in order to file for reimbursement. So please, please, please make sure you take advantage of that, because especially if you'll go ahead, you'll pay up front, but these are legitimate reimbursement programs. And if you don't feel, after reading the 5 different, if you don't feel like you qualify for anyone, shoot me an email, because I will find one and we'll get you reimbursed. So this is heavy. So here we are, the required documents. So it looks like a lot, but I'm telling you, once you get in it, a lot of this information as a business you probably already have in the first place. So I got a few highlighted in yellow. Those I'm going to kind of touch on, and then we'll keep it moving. But proof of ethnicity, I have it highlighted in yellow because we get a lot of questions as to why we have to prove ethnicity. We are a minority business certification entity. So we have to have that validation that you are an ethnic minority in order to certify you. If you're not an ethnic minority, and we saw the eligible list earlier and the ineligible list, then if you're ineligible, we cannot certify you. There's several different ways. We ask for the birth certificate in the late 60s, early 70s. They stopped putting race on birth certificates. So there are other ways to find that. Some of the ways are medical records, military records, birth certificates of your mother and father, or father, death certificate. So there's ways to prove that. So don't let it not being on your birth certificate as a deterrent to following through with the certification process. We will get that taken care of. 2 years of federal taxes. I don't have it highlighted in yellow, but I should. And this came up last week. If you are a business owner who just started your business, so I started my business in June of 2022. Of course, I don't have 2 years business taxes. I don't have 1 year. That's fine. What I ask in that situation, or what we ask in that situation, is provide 2 years of personal taxes for those 2 years, or 2 years back. So we're looking for 20 and 21's taxes, personal taxes. If there's a combination, I've been in business 1 year, I have 1 year business taxes. So I'll ask for that 1 year business taxes and 1 year of personal taxes. So we'll definitely need 2 years of taxes. Current signed financial statements. I just started my business. I don't have a cash flow balance sheet or profit and loss statement. That's fine. All I need are projections. What are your projections? A lot of time we put our projections on business plans, so we can transpose that information into the application. A resume of all owners. This is highlighted in yellow because a lot of people put bios, but just a resume. And when you put your resume in, please indicate or make sure that the ownership of your business is on your resume. Any equipment owned or available, for whatever reason, that causes people a lot of problems. I'll have construction companies, caterers, and the like say they don't own any equipment. So the question to me from my committee is like, well, how are they doing business? We gotta, and if it's something that we need to walk through, we can walk through it. And proof of capital investment. What I'm asking for here is just what you use, the monies you use to start your business. Not since you started. Obviously, we're going to put money into our business as we go along and as we grow our business. But this is what I use to start my business, and that solely. So for some people, it's just $99 to get your LLC. If that's all you use to start your business, that's all I need from you. And then the next slide we're going to talk, this is for everybody. The next slide we're going to talk about how your business is structured. So again, if you remember, we looked at LLC, sole props, corps, SRC, and partnerships. So the previous slide documents everybody needs, regardless of your business structure. This slide here, we're speaking specific to business structure. I'm only going to focus on what I see as business structure, S or sole props and partners. Now, with the sole prop, I do want to say it's not how you file your taxes. It is how your business is set up. Because you have LLCs that sole members that file sole props. That's fine. But what we're looking at here is how your business is structured. What does it say on your certificate from whatever state that you're in? If you're LLC, sole, SOC core, and the like. But I'm gonna focus on the LLCs. So you'll need your certificate of organization. This is my certificate I got from the state, saying that I'm a legal business structure registered with the state. Your articles of organization, any amendments that you've had, and again, that might not be applicable, but if you had any amendments, please include that. Your op agreement or your operational agreement, excuse me. This is basically laying session plan, it's meeting, it's votes, especially it's really big for if you have more than one owner. Because now, what's the succession plan? Who has voting rights? Who is actually the majority owner? Where will you be meeting? Things like that are all contained in your operational agreement. The contributions from each owner, the payouts from each owner, for each owner, excuse me. So those are in your operational agreement. Again, please don't let, if you don't have any of these, please don't let that scare you. I will walk you through getting those. No worries. No worries at all. Member unit certificates. So this is just saying it's a certificate like a stock option saying so-and-so Alana Brooks owns 100%, or if there are multiple owners, I own 50% or 49%, Alana owns 51, whatever the case may be. So those are your certificates. Your ledger book just really spells out your certificate. So whatever your certificates say, it has to match in your ledger book. Meeting minutes. If it's most that laid out in your op agreement, we ask for the first, the most recent, and those where any officers were elected. Now, people say I'm a sole member LLC. I don't have any meeting minutes. Perfectly fine. That should be outlined in your op agreement. If you don't have that clause in your op agreement, your operational agreement, please make sure you put it in. That way I won't even ask you about meeting minutes because I see it in your operational agreement that you don't have meeting minutes. But in any case, if any of these documents or if they look a little tough or a little scary right now, don't let it be. Don't be hesitant. Talk to me and we'll get you through. And again, Chicago, Maryland, what I'm telling you now is statewide, so or nationwide. So the same documents I'm asking for here is with the Chicago Minority Supplier Development Council, with Eastern, with Capital Region. So again, talk to me and I will walk you through getting these documents if you do not have them. Next slide, Tara, please. Any questions? I kind of flew through that. I wanted to be respectful of everybody's time, but I want to make sure that you had the information and then I'm available to answer any questions. I'm going to put both my telephone number as well as my email in the chat. It's on the slide deck. So, Alana, I don't know if this is something that um, you're more than welcome to share this with anybody if you like that's on the call that would like it. Um, I have no problems with that. So please make sure
Okay, no
that
problem. Yeah, just share in the chat. Yeah, that's great. And then I mean, if no one in the audience has a question, I have a question. I definitely
everything
have a
I
question.
did, good or really bad. So yes,
No, it was
already.
good. It was good. I just what I didn't understand was the reimbursement for membership. Is that reimbursement for membership for the fees that you paying off for your membership? What is the
So
reimbursement for?
yeah, that's a great question. So initially we looked at that chart that had, depending on what class you're in, is what your certification fee is going to be to apply for certification. So you initially plot you pay up front. Once you get certified, you'll either that you can actually go to that site itself and fill out the information. Applications are on that site, or if you rather me do it, just let me know and I will go ahead and apply on your behalf for that reimbursement. So again,
That is
Lowe's,
awesome. I don't
you
remember them doing that.
no,
How long?
it's new.
I
It's
was
new.
about
It's
to say, you
2 months
didn't tell
old
us about this
I wasn't cheating you. I promise. It is new. So you
That's
see how I
all.
forgot
No,
to slide
like I
people.
don't like real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, but those that are on
Yeah,
that is huge because they didn't offer that years ago. I
no,
mean,
no,
that
no.
is awesome when you get reimbursed for your membership. So that's almost like
Yeah,
a drop in the bucket. That's a no brainer, really. That I mean,
right.
you're
What do
we're
you have to
asking you
lose?
to invest into some money into and getting MBE certified. You know how many applications when you're trying to apply for grants will ask you if you're MBE certified. You can check yes now
Yes,
because you have went with the minority supplier company and you have went through the process. You've been approved, and then you can get that money reimbursed. That's
yes,
awesome.
Linda said,
absolutely.
post. Linda has a question. She said, what kind of
Ab-
opportunities are corporate members seeking during this time of the social justice movement? Are you seeing opportunities for communication companies?
Absolutely. So we're seeing opportunities across the board. To be honest with you, and if I could be frank, this is where I get in trouble. But if I could be frank, we know a lot of what these corporations are doing. For whatever, however you want to say it, whatever your thoughts are. There are credits being issued to corporations for using minority businesses. I mean, we're honest.
Everybody
We
knows
can't
that.
be
Yeah.
honest, can we?
No, but
Okay,
there
all right. Just want to make sure.
people do know that. I mean, if you didn't know that, then now you know because I mean they are given certain slots for minority
Yes.
businesses and they have to use it or they sometimes get penalized.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
right.
Exactly. Exactly. So
Right.
to answer Linda's question, I'm seeing opportunities across the board. Communications, yes. I will tell you right now, especially in Ohio, there are a couple of big opportunities coming up. Intel, for example, Intel being one. Intel is bringing the biggest chip producing factory on the globe to Columbus, Ohio. So they are literally starting from the ground up. They haven't even broke ground yet. They named their GC, their general contractor, and some other people, but they are looking for everything. You know what I'm saying? Because they want to bring all of this to Central Ohio. Communications companies, absolutely, because communications and marketing probably will fall, after construction. You're looking at communications, marketing is another one. Um, so those are some of the opportunities, but everything that there hasn't been, and I'm saying this with all transparency and honesty, there haven't been any industries that we certify that are not getting opportunities. Now, I'm gonna say this as well, just like I stated earlier, because a P&G might not need a communication specialist today. That doesn't mean that or the next 2 months they won't. Contracts run out. Contracts
Mhm.
run out, and it's about presenting yourself. It's one getting to know who that S&D supplier diversity, who that procurement officer is in those organizations, knowing who they are, building that relationship, staying in the forefront. When I was, Alonda stated earlier, I used to be a hospitality. I used to be a GM and a director of sales for Marriott and Hilton. So on the sales side, I would send people emails once every couple of weeks. Just, they didn't need my services then. But when that time came, if the Marriott they got mad at Marriott, guess who they thought of? Boom, Jelani. So it's just building that relationship. Wasn't asking for everything or asking for anything every time. Just a quick hello, hi, how you doing? Because when that time comes, when that communication specialist, if they outsource it, if they need it, guess who they're going to think of? They're going to think of Linda. You know what? Linda's been calling me. Linda's
Yeah.
been emailing.
Yeah.
Let me reach out to her and see what she can do. Um,
Ebony has a question. She says, "Does MBE help with
Go ahead.
business
I'm sorry.
plans?"
Did she want to come on
Can
stage
you
or
hear
she?
me? She
So
put her question in the chat. She said,
yeah, I
does
can hear you.
MBE help with business
Okay.
plans?"
So yes and no. So we partner with people who help with business plans. So for the state of Ohio, we partner with the Minority Business Accelerator. They produce business plans. So let me back up a little bit too to answer. It's going to be a long answer, but I am going to answer your question. One thing that I noticed and that we're trying to fix is that the ecosystem for minorities are so fractured. You
Mm,
have the OMSDC, you have the Urban League, you have the Minority Business Accelerator, you have, and this I'm speaking solely of Ohio, you have the MBDA, you have all the African American Chamber, the Hispanic Chamber. You have all these different entities that
okay.
have a piece, a piece of getting everybody to that next level. So what our president is, and I didn't mention him earlier, but he was on the first slide, George Sims. What we're doing now, what we're heavy on right now, is trying to bring that ecosystem together. So I know what you do, you know what I do. If
Mm-hmm.
you need capital, I know exactly who I'm gonna call and make that introduction or email introduction so you can get capital, so you can have that conversation. If you need a business plan, if we know what each other does, and I can call the Minority Business Accelerator and say, hey, listen, I have Ebony here. Everyone needs a business plan. So right now we're operating as different entities, but we're bringing that together. We're sitting at the table for the first time that I know of, and it's been said, where we're actually having conversations and figuring out if our goal is to help and grow minority businesses. This is a no-brainer. We need to know what each other does, and the Houston Urban League, our director of fields is out of the Houston Council. So those are some of the things that we done. So to answer your question, Ebony, yes and no. I don't do them personally as the council. I do them outside of the council. But if you want to go through the council, I do have partners like the NBA that will help you develop your business plan.
Okay. We have another question. It says, how lucrative are some of these partnerships in terms of bottom line that you have facilitated? So what have you seen in your term of being
Oh,
there?
yeah, it really depends. I've seen a class one grow to a class four right now.
Explain
You
what that
know,
is. Yes, please.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Bobby, I'm sorry. So a class one is less than a mil a year, in annual revenue. So I've seen a class one go from a class one as what we classify as a class one, and again, it's solely based off annual revenue, to a class four. Class four revenue is 49. I'm sorry, yeah, 50 million up.
Mm,
So that was one contract. Now, granted, it didn't happen overnight. Please don't misunderstand me. They actually slow walked this gentleman. That's
mm,
fine. They slow walked him. They gave him a little bit here. They gave him a little bit here, and they actually helped him develop his capabilities and his scale
mm,
because
mm,
initially he didn't have scale. And what I mean by scale is he couldn't take on the projects he's taking on now for them. He's a tier one
yeah.
supplier for him now, which means he supplies directly to this corporation. Initially, he came as a tier two or a tier three. where he supplies somebody that supplied the organization. Please stop me if I'm not making any sense. But he's moved
Someone
from a
asked what scale his business. You mean he wasn't able to take on the business, so he had maybe like one employee, and when he first started,
exactly,
and then he got a contract, and then he
right,
was able to hire more people because he got more and more work that needed to be done. So he was able to
exactly.
increase his
He
business
was
to
putting
scale it.
money back into his business, growing his business. So for this particular individual I'm speaking of is a manufacturer. So now he's able to buy more machinery, um, and hire more employees.
Mhm, mhm.
Now he's running shifts that are exact to the shifts that the company is supplying for is running. So um, he's mirroring the corporation's schedule. His schedule is their schedule is his schedule because he's a tier one supplier now. So he's pushing business out. And honestly, it was said we were there. My president and I were there mid July, I think it was, and got to tour the facility. And this is important when I talk about scale, and I'll explain a little more. But for every minute that he shuts down, like if his business goes down, and it did, for every minute that his business shuts down, they lose $30,000. Now, when we talk about scale, it's important to know. I know we all want 50 billion or more. Believe me, I do too.
Right, I received that.
But I can't take on a contract.
That's right. No,
I
seriously.
can't take that contract on today.
Yes, that's right.
That will break me.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? I've seen businesses go belly up because they took on more than they could really handle,
yeah.
which which kind of circles back into knowing what each other does.
Mhm.
Because if I can't handle it by myself, and Tara and Alonda are in a similar business, we
Right.
can partner together and get some of that pie, or excuse me, that money, versus or that contract. Excuse me, I lose myself every now and then. Get some of that
Okay.
money instead of none of us getting anything.
Yeah.
Tara and
That's
Alonda might not even know about the opportunity. I may be
good.
the only one that knows about the opportunity, but I know I can't take it on by myself. So who do I know that can help me so I don't have to walk by this opportunity, but not only be able to get this opportunity, but now I'm developing scale because I'm working with this joint venture or this collaboration. And now I'm putting more money back into my business. So next time come around 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, we all can handle this contract individually versus collaborating. Does that
Yeah.
make any sense?
No, that makes sense.
Would this be similar to a JV? Absolutely. But it's depending on how you want to structure your JV.
What's a
You can
JV?
do
What's JV?
A joint
a joint
venture.
venture.
Oh,
Excuse me.
joint venture. But
Joint venture.
explain what
So
MBE is, because that
MBE stands for
right.
MBE stands for Minority Business Enterprise.
That's what I
So
thought. Okay.
a
So,
minority owned business.
right, but you guys,
So
think
she
she
also
was.
asked another part of the question that you
Yeah.
missed. Yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Lana. I was just about to say that
So,
question, but go ahead. Go ahead,
so
Lana.
she said, "Oh, my bad. Go ahead. I just didn't know if you had seen it."
Yeah, that's what I was going to
So
ask.
basically, she said, can the MBE help seek capital for struggling business owners to help them increase revenue?"
So MBE can help seek capital for struggling business owners to help them increase revenue. So MBE can help.
MBE is just a classification.
Yes, MBE is just classification.
Yeah.
So what I do at OMSDC, and and forgive me if I'm misunderstanding the question, but it looks like you're asking, can we help with capital for struggling business owners? Great question. That is a great question. OMSDC does not personally, but we have those business partners, like I was saying a moment ago, that are part of our ecosystem that we're developing that will find capital. Um, there's actually one of our corporate partners, Huntington. Huntington is one of our corporate partners. So within the network, and when I say within the network, that's people who are in our corporate or in our network, our corporations as well as our MBEs, as well as the council. So a threefold network. In our network, Huntington is the first thing that comes to mind because Huntington right now, depending on if you want a grant or a loan, but Huntington is offering what they call a lift local right now. I mean, they're literally giving away money. They are giving away money. They have reduced your typical loan, and I'm not plugging Huntington by no means. I don't work for them, but they have reduced their typical requirements that we as Black people have seen as a deterrent previously to get these business loans. I'm gonna put it in a for those who want. It's called Lift Local Business, and I'm putting it in the chat because that is one of the biggest. I've conducted their seminars, their webinars, and they are literally giving money as little as 1,500 to 150K with a max of 10 years. Their rate is standard. So this is another thing. The rate is prime plus two. So whatever prime is, it's that plus 2%. So if prime is at 6%, and I didn't look at it today, just as an example, so your loan rate will be 8%.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's very huge. Credit scores are they went down as far as credit scores. Typically, that's one of the deterrents that they did a research. One of the deterrents is, especially if you're just starting your business, you don't have any business credit. You don't have any business credit. So how can I get a business loan without any business credit when you're looking at business credit to determine if I can get a business loan? So it makes no sense.
Hold on. That's a good pause.
So
Pause right there. A lot of people, this is why we call him the middle level business coach. A lot of people are starting LLCs and don't even know about how to establish business credit or that business credit is a thing because even though I'm younger, if you came into the business game, say 20 years ago, like Tara and us, you know what I'm saying? Like business credit, you had to have A1 personal credit to even be considered for business credit.
A1.
So one of the game changers is now by the fact that we've shifted. Now there's so much money that's flowing through the economy or has been released into the economy. So now it's shifted the way that a lot of corporate businesses know that we need to do business. That's why it is so good to have a business coach that knows about these other relationships to help you facilitate the things in your business so you don't have to be hustling backwards. Because if I would have known for somebody like me that's been in business since I was literally 16 years old, if I'd have known or had the opportunities that I'm having now at 38 going into my 40s, I guarantee y'all I would be a couple of times over a millionaire if I would have known about business credit and building businesses and literally building brick and mortars from scratch.
Yes. And in all fairness to our, my parents, my father was it was an older, my father and my mother, they were all about go to school and get a good job. We don't teach entrepreneurship. We don't necessarily teach thank you for putting that in there. Business ownership. And that's no fault of theirs. But now it's too much information out here for us not to take advantage of. We have access to information. Again, we're playing from behind. Don't get me wrong, but the information is still there, and we can get to that information. And again, this I hate to keep circling back, but this is why networking is important. It's vital for the growth of your business. It's not just, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Here's my business card. That's not it. That's not it at all. It's actually knowing what you can do, you knowing what I can do. I may know some opportunities Tar doesn't, and vice versa, because I can refer stuff to Tar or Alana because I know what they do. You know what I mean? So, and they know what I do, so they can refer opportunities to me. I did see a question. I want to make sure I answer it. Minimum score. So their FICOs. So their minimum score for personal credit right now it doesn't equate exactly, but it's 580. And that's absurd. A personal credit score of 580 to get
They're
something
giving
as
you
much
money.
as 150K.
They want to give you money, but the thing is,
They're
it's
giving-
gonna
and
help our
nobody-
economy. You got to get money, but the thing is, when you get the money, please, sir, please, ma'am, whoever's listening, please make sure you are being
Don't mess it up
responsible
for everybody else
with your money, because there's been so many times we've heard in the news, companies getting these PPP loans, all this other stuff, and they buying the bag.
Yes.
This is not the bag money. This is not the bag money.
No.
This is because you're gonna have to pay this back.
No.
And if you spend this money, definitely someone's gonna be coming after you for this money. So don't spend it on the bag. Do what you need to do for your business. Get these contracts. Sign up with MSDC. Sign up with license your program, license your company, and get the contracts, and then let that contract money secure the bag. You know what I'm saying?
This is chess, not checkers.
Right.
Yeah. This is long game.
But
long
we
game.
have a long game. We have a question from Sharonda Benson. So let me tell you where I met Sharonda from real quick, because you explained to me so well how important networking is. So I met Sharonda, and she introduced me to this networking. I'm not gonna say the networking group, but if you want to know, you can ask me afterwards. And with this networking group, I got on there. I visited their group. She's part of the group. I'm not yet, but I will be. But they get on there weekly, and they talk about their business, and they share about how they can support each other actively that week. Mm-hmm. So they're always giving information, always looking for networking, how I can help someone out. And she's like the top networker. She is the top networker. And she always is, trying to support people in their business. But she has a question. She said, do we have to be MBE certified first, or does that help with I think she's talking about in regards to the loan. The Huntington Bank has nothing to do with being MBE certified or being certified with the council, correct?
It's just one of their partners, yeah.
That is correct. They do not. And then I saw another. I wanted to. You're absolutely right, Tar. It does not, Sharonda. So you can go on there right now and apply. But I also want to say this about Huntington again. I don't work for Huntington, but just with the questions that are being asked through their Lift Local program, they will also. Yes, absolutely. It is a powerful tool, and it's a tool that you can put on your email signature, on your website. You can put that MBE certification on there. But the Huntington Lift Local, even if you don't apply for a loan, they have opportunities now where they're walking you through how to do business plans. I believe it was Ebony that asked earlier about business plans. They will walk you through a business plan. Obviously, in order to apply for a loan, they'll want to see a business plan. They'll even help you with that in order for you to apply for that loan, or you can just get help with the business plan and walk away. You don't have to apply. There's no obligation from them. So for those who are looking at capital, that are looking for loans, that's one I would recommend.
Anybody have
any other questions? You guys are doing awesome. Keep shooting them to me if you have them. I did put my contact information, Alana, in the chat. I'll do it again just in case somebody missed it, if that's okay.
Yeah, and then we're gonna go to the tables too. We're gonna do networking right after this. So if you guys want to, if you want to go, we got a table for you out there. I'll show you how to get there. And then you guys can ask more questions. If you guys have any more questions, please drop it in the chat real quick. Or oh yes, thank you. Arlen just said thank you for the information. But yeah, so I just want to stress too,
absolutely.
like real quick. I just want to say thank you again for coming to the stage for this, because you and I have had talks about how important this piece is and how integral it can be, and how much of a game changer it is for businesses. And it's a different way, a different take on networking, because they always say your worth determines your network, right? But we're always just thinking about the people that we've encountered
Yes.
already
Yes.
in the daily life, and not really continuing to build our network. Sometimes we just build it because it happens by happenstance, or you just come to meet somebody. You're like, oh, okay, this
Yeah.
kind of, but you gotta be intentional
Right.
about building these relationships. Like everybody
Right.
wants to be a millionaire, but nobody is
Strategic.
chasing the network of the millionaire circle. Until I like literally, I tell people this all the time. People are like, oh, how are you so successful? Pretty much all of my coaches are millionaires. Like I ain't trying to put their business out there or not, but but you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you gotta be around people who make you dream bigger and help you see that bigger is possible. Sometimes it's just imagining, just imagining it. It seems like that goal is so far off until you get into the room with people that's making $10,000 a month. Making $10,000 a month seems like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna make that happen,
Yes.
even though you could have all the talent in the world. But you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna make that happen until you look to your left, you look to your right, and you're like, oh, these people are doing this like effortlessly in their sleep. Then not only are the people that's making $10,000, they're hanging around, or their coaches or their mentors are people that's making $50,000 a month. And the people that's making $50,000 a month are in networks and sitting at tables learning from people that are making $100,000 a month. You know what I'm saying? So it's like in order to get to the $1 million circle.
Yes.
And I'm not just saying to have made $1 million, because we've all made $1 million, whether you got it or not. Like if you have any substantial age on you and you've been a working individual, you have accumulated a gross pay of $1 million probably by now. But to think, I want to hold my $1 million, like I want to see it so where I know that those bills are coming in, and I don't gotta hyperventilate. I want to put it on auto pay. You see what I'm saying? And I'd be like, it's all net, and know that it's all net.
Yeah.
That's where I'm trying to get through. I'm not trying to just be another one in the number and just be like, man, I've made these companies like a meal. I know I have. Like, shoot, I'm here to tell you, like, being young and you know that you touched $50,000 in 4 months at the age of 19, I know that it can be done. Like just doing a domestic job. So when you've made the money, and you know that you have the talent and the ability to make the money, you have to get around like-minded people. You have to be willing to get a coach. You have to be willing to sit with people to tell you like, hey, you're doing this great, but you got to subtract these 3 things that are not great. A lot of people don't want to sit underneath that coaching and that consulting. You got to scared money don't make no money.
And you don't, if I may, Alana. No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But I want to challenge everybody for the next 12 months not to buy that Coach bag, not to buy that Michael Kors, but to really invest in yourself, get this certification, get certified, put yourself in some situations, put yourself in some rooms. You know what I'm saying? Start to take that money and flip it and invest it in. Eat out one less weekend a month. Flip that money back into something that's gonna keep making you some money.
Yeah.
Invest in yourself.
That's it. And I want to also real quickly, you don't, and to piggyback on that, you don't know what you don't know. And that's where the coaching and the mentoring are vital, because you just don't know what you don't know. So that is vital to have at least a mentor minimal, that can walk you through, explaining what you don't know. And then there was another question I wanted. It wasn't a question, but I wanted to say this. So for those who, and I know we're short on time, forgive me, but I suggest that all of my minority businesses on here do your research, find out what companies that you want to do business with. Once you find that, most all of them, not all of them, most all of them have supplier diversity pages. So what I mean by that is, make sure they'll ask you 2 things more than often than not. One is, are you MBE certified? And 2, have you registered on our supplier management, our vendor page? Please make sure, even if you're not certified, make sure you go out to these companies that you want to do business with and register as a vendor on their supplier diversity page. You can do that right now. Pepsi, Coke, whoever that you are eyeing wanting to do business with, make sure that you register because they'll ask you that. We'll take that step right off the table right now. So when they say, "Have you read it?" Yes, I have. Yes, I have. Indeed. So I want to thank Alonda, Tora, Women CEOs Rock. It has been my honor to be on here today. It is my honor to be with all this energy, us doing it. I mean, it just makes me happy. It really does. I mean, Alonda will tell you, I get really excited about this because I think it's time that we have a table. And it's an opportunity. It's the best opportunity we've ever had to have our own table. So, let's make sure we take advantage of it best we can.
Yeah,
Thank
a lot of us have
you
tables and we
all,
don't even
and I'll
realize
be
what
hanging
we're
around and
sitting.
answer.
Yeah, like a lot of us have tables and we don't even realize what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's time for us to start, being in a position to be a blessing to others and to our own self. Like we say, we
Yeah.
want to build a legacy. We want to have generational wealth, but we don't,
Yes.
we're not taking the necessary steps. And a lot of us, I've been guilty at times. I'm a lover of knowledge. We get the knowledge and
Go ahead.
we sit on it, we don't do much with it. So that's why I say get a coach, because a coach holds you accountable. They stay with you through the process. And so definitely, if you could be successful, don't wait till a problem occurs to try to fix something when
Mm-mm.
you can constantly be putting yourself in a position. Nobody Once you start working out at the gym, right, you still go to maintain what you've done if you're for real about what you've put in motion. Some of us, we get the results, we fall off, we don't go to the gym anymore. We like, okay, I'm cool, I got to let go, I got in this dress, I got in this suit, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. And then you fall in love, somebody start noticing you, then you start going back out to eat, you start the process over and over and over again. But the people who are for real and they like, listen, I'm tired, I'm ready to shatter this curse. I'm ready to for real change. I like how I'm feeling. I like how it's
Yeah.
going. I like the
Yeah.
results. Like, I'm gonna stay in the gym and I'm
Yeah.
gonna keep elevating. I'm gonna go to my next level of strength. And I feel like
Yes.
if we start to approach our businesses like that, we will see the reward. We will start to reap the fruit and the harvest that God has intended for us. So we got to make sure that the next year, this year for me was me versus me, right? Correcting myself, holding myself accountable, cutting out the things that I didn't need to no longer babysit. Next year is a level of consistency, showing up for yourself. You've put the plan in motion. Now, how are you going to show up? Like, you guys have some tools now that you didn't have
Yeah.
before. Have some questions, you have access. Even if you have questions that come up as you go through the process, you have access now. So what are you going to do with the access? It's time
Yes.
to leap. Like, it's time to leap. It's no more saying like, oh, I want to do this and I'm going to do
It
this, but
is.
okay, now you're equipped. So now you're the clock of accountability according to God is running up now, because it's like now you've gotten the knowledge. So now what are you gonna do with it? So I encourage you all to get your plan in place, recession proof your business. We're going to keep bringing you great industry experts, and you're going to have access to them. So I want you to make sure that you don't let this time that you spend with us tonight be in vain. This is an investment to your future. This is an investment to consistency. And that's how you should see it. Continue to show up for yourself, and it'll trickle down to your legacy and your family and the people that are linked to your divine destiny. If your business is successful, you can employ others, and you never know like how much that is going to change the trajectory for somebody else's life just by you showing up consistently for
Yes.
your yes and
Yes.
being in your purpose. So
Yes.
that's my TED talk.
Absolutely.
I know that's Right. I have a real quick question. So, since we do have people that are from other areas in the room besides Ohio, how can they get in touch with their representative for the National Minority Supplier? And will they get credit for attending tonight, or how does that
Yeah,
work?
absolutely. You could, yeah, absolutely. I would definitely attend it. And I'm actually going to verify where to go, so everybody can go to NMSDC National Minority Supply Council.
Wait, you're
When
breaking
you
up a
go
little bit.
onto that NMSDC homepage,
Jelani, you're
there,
breaking up just a little bit. Can you repeat what you
I'm
just said?
sorry.
That's no problem.
When you Are you able to hear me? Can
Yeah.
you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Are you okay? Great. I'm sorry. So everybody can go to nmsdc.org, and under nmsdc.org about us section, and it'll say affiliates. So the affiliates are the different councils. So they'll have a list of all 23 affiliates: Ohio, Chicago, Eastern. Some affiliates cover multiple states, just depending on the demographic. Um, so great question. And yes. Oh, somebody beat me to it. It is in November. M is in Mary. So National Minority Supplier Development Council. And I just real quickly, I think it was Ebony said, she needs to work on consistency. All of us had at one point. Yesterday doesn't matter now. We just look at what we can do moving forward, make a plan and work the plan. That's it.
I don't know, Jelani, if it's just me or I'm having some issues with the site. Do you know anything about that? Not with your link.
It
I had this earlier
with the
too.
NMSDC site.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I can actually let me just do it this
Huh.
way then, because I'm able to jump on. Let's try
You
that.
said you're able to jump what? Oh, all right, maybe.
I'm able to jump on okay on the site, and forgive me if my Wi-Fi is going out. I don't know what it is.
All right. Maybe it's just me.
Um,
Someone says it's fine working for them.
able to
Maybe
get
it's my
on.
computer. Maybe it may just be my computer.
Hey,
So
hold on. I want to shout out Jelani real quick, y'all, because listen, y'all don't know this, but I noticed this man took the time out of his vacation to come speak to you guys tonight. So thank you guys for showing up, because he's in fabulous the West Coast on vacation, and he was just like, hey, I want to make sure I still show up for y'all. So I just wanted to say thank you again for
Absolutely.
taking time out from your vacation to come through for us.
Nah, it's my pleasure. Thank you for the invitation. And I'm about this life, so whatever I can do,
and
whatever I can do.
Shakira was saying she was at it was going in and out, but I knew that he wasn't at his Wi-Fi, so it's really nothing that he could have done per se about that. But if you want to talk to him offline or have some questions, can you put your email in the chat too? Because it was going in and out, but I was just like,
I'm
okay,
so
I was
sorry.
praying, I was praying the whole way, like, okay,
Can we go back to the let's go back to the networking tables real quick, and then if they want to
okay, that sounds
hit
good.
them
Let's
up
do
real
that.
quick.
So here's what will happen after this session. When I end this session, you're gonna go back to where you came in, and there are some tables. And what you could do is pull up a seat to
Okay.
Women CEO Rock table if you have a specific question for Jelani, and you want to ask that there. And then if you have any questions about, if you just want to network with each other and meet each other face to face, there is a networking table. And then there's also a table that says Increase Biz Now. And what Increase Biz Now is a marketing company. And also I'm part of Women CEO Rocks, the network. So and does anybody have any questions about going to the tables? If there's no questions about
Or any questions for me and Tara either, because we didn't put that out there either.
well, we
So
can answer those at the table. so we don't belabor this longer. We can, if you have questions about Women CEO Rocks and how to join, come to Women CEO Rocks table as well.
Oh, also too, a very important part. Hopefully you guys are on computers, desktops or computers, because you will not be able to use the feature if you're on a phone. I think you'll be fine if you're on a tablet, but if you're on a cellular device, you may want to switch over to a computer or a laptop real quick, or maybe even a tablet. It might work better, but I know if you're just on a phone, you will not have access to all the full features.
Okay. Well, if no one has any questions, we'll see you guys at the tables with your questions, or maybe some further discussion, maybe your specific need that you want to discuss while we are on this session. So I'll see you guys at the table. Thank you guys for taking the time out to join us this evening, and we will see you next month.
Next month, 4th Tuesday of the month. Mark your calendar.